Okay. So, kahapon, ang pinag-usapan natin ay Introduction to Machine Learning. At tinignan natin kung um, paano nag-work ang machine learning um, or paano siya natututo. Okay. And the way we did that is by taking a look at a linear data set. Okay, at hinayaan natin na yung computer ang mag-determine ng best fit line, which means na yung machine yung nag figure out kung ano yung slope tsaka y-intercept nung best fit na line. Okay, nakita natin kahapon na if we use a method called gradient descent. So gradient descent is a type of method to minimize yung errors. Okay, then the machine should be able to determine yung um, tawag dito, yung slope tsaka y-intercept. Now, there was a question yesterday na applicable bang or kung gaano ka applicable ang linear regression of model, okay, kung gaano siya ka-applicable. Okay, so medyo limited lang din siya kasi of course yung data na titignan natin na pwede mong i-apply yung linear regression ay para lang sa linear na data. Okay, and makikita natin yung limitation niyan ngayong araw. Kasi ngayong araw, ang titignan natin ay yung tinatawag na neural networks. Okay. So, dali i-fix ko lang yung aking screen. Okay, so um desktop one. Okay. So I hope nakikita niyo yung desktop. Okay, and so, ang pag-aaral natin ngayong araw ay neural networks. Okay. Nga pala, before we begin, so, dun sa Facebook page, makikita nyo rin doon yung Python codes. Okay. So, pag nag-scroll down kayo dito, makikita nyo rin dito yung Python codes example. Okay. Pag kilik nyo lang itong mga links na to, there are also some examples here for predicting salaries, for example, predicting insurance claims. Okay, and the data sets can be found here. Okay, so kung hindi kayo familiar sa coding, let me just show you kung ano pwede niyong gawin. Okay, so ito yung isang example. This is example ng predicting insurance claims. Okay, now, ang kailangan na dataset dito is yung insurance.csv. And you need to upload yung dataset dito. So, click nyo lang itong folder dito sa side. And then, you can download na yung dataset from this folder here. And then, after you download yung dataset na yan, okay, pwede nyo nang i-upload dun sa dito. Okay, so dito nyo i-upload. So salary.csv. Oops. Yan. Okay, so ayan. So na-upload na yung data and then that's the only time that you can run yung yung code. Okay, so pag niran natin to, then it will show yung results dito. Okay. Briefly describe that. But of course, ito yung hinahanap talaga ng natin dito sa code na ito, yung best fit line that fits itong dataset na nakakulay blue. So ito yung best fit line na red, ito yung kanyang slope at saka y-intercept. And with the best fit line, you will be able to make predictions. So kung titignan nyo rito sa sa code, meron din parang exercises dito. So exercise 1, predict the salary for a person with 10 years of experience. And you can, of course, get that from the graph. So 10 years of experience. So ang salary niya is about 120,000. Okay. And yun yung pinapakita dito ng result. So yan yung result. Okay, based dun sa slope at saka y-intercept na nakuha niya. So ito yung y-intercept tsaka yung slope. And then sa exercise 2, pinapagawa dito is to retrain the model with a different test size. Okay? So hindi ko na-explain yan. Okay? if you can just go through yung ano yung code if you like. Okay, pero ang point lang dito, ang point lang ng exercise kahapon is just to show you how machines think. Okay, but if you really want to understand yung code, okay, you're welcome to just send me an email and ask a question or ask your questions. Okay, then ito yung pangalawang example. So this is insurance naman. Ito salaries. So this is insurance. Okay, and so yan, tignan niyo na lang din yung yung examples na ito. And just feel free to ask about these things if you're really interested to do these things. Also, just for your information, sa first semester, um, ako yung mag-handle ng special topics at i-discuss ko lahat ng mga bagay na ito sa dun sa special topics na yun. Okay, so in more detail, and i-upload ko lahat yun dun sa YouTube channel. So if you want to sort of be to sort of learn about these things in detail, so yung YouTube channel ay makikita nyo rin dun sa Facebook page. Okay, pero I can also share it here. And um, okay, I suppose it in. Ito. So, slash. Okay, so sinend ko rin sa chat yung YouTube channel. Okay, kung saan ko ina-upload yung mga videos. Okay, so ngayon medyo mababaw lang yung discussions natin. Pero yun nga, sa first semester, mas detalyado na lahat ng mga discussions. Okay, so going back, now pag-usapan natin ay neural networks. And neural networks is really a very, very powerful method pagdating sa machine learning. It's actually yung basis, okay, basis ng lahat ng or karamihan ng algorithm sa machine learning ay itong neural networks. Yung idea ng neural networks is the same as how brains are organized. Okay, so gagawin natin yung araw is tignan natin kung ano ang neural networks, paano sila nag-work. And then within the network, mayroon tinatawag na activation functions. Okay, paano ginagamit yung activation functions, ano itong mga activation functions nito. And then towards the end, tignan natin kung paano natin i-apply yung neural networks dun sa very simple na exercise na classification ng digits. So, meron tayong 10 digits, 0, 1, 2, 3 hanggang 9. Okay, and mayroong institution na gumawa na sinulat yung digits na to, 0 to 9, at naka-generate sila ng 70,000 na digits. And tinrain nila yung model using neural networks to determine para malaman kung ano yung digits na yan. Okay, para ma-recognize kung ano-ano yung mga digits na yan. So it's actually the first step in recognition, okay, ng text. Okay, ngayon sobrang sobrang common na niya. Pero 10, 15 years ago, ito pa lang yung ginagawa dun sa machine learning. Okay, at yun yung pag-aaralan natin ngayong araw. Okay, so tulad nung nabanggit ko, neural network is really a model, okay, na ginagamit in 90% of the models that are being developed sa machine learning. Okay, and ang inspiration yun is kung paano nag-work yung brain. So kung titignan nyo dito yung figure, this is a graphical image of biological neurons at makikita natin dito yung mga nodes, okay, and each of these nodes ay connected through these what we call or what we can identify as wires, okay. So yung information is processed within these nodes, and ito yung inspiration ng neural networks. It's not Yung neural networks is not as disorganized, okay, as what you see here. Okay, medyo ano tayo, medyo organized yung neural networks. And anong tawag dito? We're still a long way to go in terms of how biological neurons actually work in comparison to how neural networks work. Okay? Hindi talaga actually natin alam kung ano nangyayari sa loob ng mga neurons na ito. Okay? But we try to approximate it, okay, using mathematical methods, at yun yung titignan natin ngayong araw. Okay. Now, why do we use neural networks? Because they are powerful enough to identify patterns and relationships in complex data. Okay. And yun nga, sobrang powerful nila na 90% of the models that we use, okay, are based on neural networks. Okay. So, ano bang components ng neural networks? Now, this looks a bit complicated, and it actually is mathematically. Okay, pero ang kinaganda dito, dahil nga sobrang common na ito, meron na talagang mga models, okay, na tawag dito, na-develop na, okay, to help us, to make it easier for us. Okay, pero ang kailangan nyo lang tandaan at this time is that itong neural network nito, okay, ay merong tatlong basic layers. Okay. So, yung input layer, okay, ito yung dito nyo ilalagay kung ano yung gusto nating pag-aralan. And then you have these hidden layers. Okay, and then we have the output layers. So, itong exercise na ito, okay, ang ginagawa dito is to identify nga yung digits. So, itong model, ang purpose ng model na ito is classification. So, it wants to classify kung yung digit na in-input natin dito sa network, okay, is a 0, a 1, a 2, a 3, or a 9. Okay? So, yun yung purpose ng model na to. Okay? To classify kung anong klaseng image or kung ano yung nakikita, okay, ng computer dun sa image. Okay, now ang ang data set na nabanggit ko kanina na kung saan basis for this type of exercise, okay, ay tinatawag na MNIST na data set. At i-describe ko yun mamaya. Pero ito yung isang tawag dito, isang example nung isang figure out of the 70,000 na data set. So this is a figure corresponding to the number 9. Okay? And ang gusto nga natin gawin is to train this model, okay, to identify classify that this figure corresponds to the number 9. Okay? So, merong nangyayari inside these hidden layers, okay, na i-describe ko mamaya, okay, para ma-ascertain na yung model outputs na itong input ay number 9 na siya. Okay, now, itong hidden layers dito sa example have two layers, so 1 at saka 2. But you can have as many layers as you can. Okay, of course, the more layers that you have, mas mahaba yung computational time, and anong tawag dito, mas mahaba yung process. Okay, pero it may or may not yield a more accurate result. Okay, depende pa rin yung kung ano yung parameters na nilalagay nyo dun sa model. And medyo marami rin yung mga parameters na yun. Okay, so let's see. Ano ba ang nakikita ng computer? Okay, so tayo as humans, we see this image. Okay, and we see it as a flower. Okay, and yung flower na yan, okay, ay merong color. Okay, and ano ang nakikita ng computer dito? Ang nakikita ng computer dito is just it's a figure, okay? Or it's a bunch of small figures. Okay, ang tawag natin doon ay pixel. So there are ang tawag well, ang ginagamit natin na word for that is pixel. So itong image na to has 1,680 times 2,240 pixels. Okay, so 1,680 dito sa direction na to and 2,240 dito sa direction na ito. So that's what? About, ilan ba yan? 1,680 times 240. So it has about 3.7 million, okay, na pixels. Okay. Now, ano itong third na Third na number. Okay. Now, yung third na number na yan corresponds dun sa color. So aside from having these pixels, you actually have three layers pa. Okay, so one on top of each other. Okay, so ito yung layer 1, layer 2, and then layer 3. Yung layer 1 corresponds to yung red, and layer 2 is green, and then yung layer 3 is blue. So RGB layers yun. Yung tawag natin doon. Okay, and how do we tawag dito? How do we identify kung red siya or green siya or blue siya? Well, magdedepend yun dun sa number na nakikita ng computer. So ito yung nakikita ng computer actually, itong mga numbers na ito. And these numbers correspond to kung ano yung intensity ng color on a specific layer. Like for example, if the number is 0, okay, if the number is 0, that means na walang color or black yung makikita. Pero if the number is, anong tawag dito? If the number is 255, which is the maximum number, then that means na ang color ay white. Pero if it's somewhere in between, and kung R na layer siya, sorry. If the number is 255, then that corresponds to red kung nasa red layer ka. If the number is 255 dun sa second layer, then it corresponds to green. And then if the number is 255 dun sa third layer, then that corresponds to blue. And pag pinagsama-sama mo yung tatlong layers na yun, then you get yung color na white. Okay? So that's how we how a computer sees itong mga colors na ito. Okay? So for example, yung RGB is 25500. Okay, 255 kasi yung first layer is red, and then walang nakikita sa green tsaka sa blue. And then yung green is 0255, and then yung blue naman is 002255. Okay? Now, so medyo komplikado yung nakikita ng computers, no? And that's how actually we talk with computers based on these numbers. So we need to understand how computers interpret itong images na ito. Now, for simplicity, okay, ang gawin natin is gawin lang natin itong parang black and white lang. Okay, so kung black and white siya, then you only have one layer. Okay, and if that layer is 0, then it means, or if that pixel is 0, then black siya, and if that layer is 255, then white siya. Okay, so grayscale, hindi naman black and white. So grayscale. Okay, so at yun yung ginawa dun sa MNIST na dataset. So MNIST stands for Modified National Institute of Standards and Technology. Okay, and they have a database, okay, consisting of the 70,000 grayscale na images, okay, na numbers 0 to 9. Okay, and each of these images has 28 by 28 in pixels. Okay, so, or 784. It has 784 na pixels. So dito, Okay, ito yung example ng MNIST na data set. Okay, and yung yun nga, so itong dataset na to has 70 is composed of 70,000 images. Okay, and ang goal dito is to identify or to teach the computer na ang bawat isa sa mga images nito, okay, corresponds to 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on and so forth. Okay, so yun yung gagawin ng computer is to develop a model, okay, to identify or to classify kung yung isang image corresponds to one of these numbers. Okay, now how do we do that? Or how do we tell the computer or ano sinasabi natin sa computer kung paano siya gagawin? Well, first of all, ang gagawin natin is i-layout natin itong 28 by 28, okay, na pixel into 784, okay, by 1. Okay, so kumbaga, yung first row na 28, okay, ay idudugtong natin yung second row na 28 dun sa first row. So meron ka ng 56, di ba? Then yung third row, third na 28, dudugtong natin dun sa first row. So meron ka ng 28 times 3, which is 84. Okay, and so on and so forth. Okay, so pagdudugtugin natin lahat ng pixels na yun until it just consists of one single row with 784 na elements. Okay, so yan ngayon ang magiging input natin. Okay, so that's just for one digit. So each digit has 784 elements. Okay, yun yung input dun sa neural network. Okay? Okay, and then sasabihin natin dun sa computer na yan digit na yan corresponds to itong specific na example na to corresponds to the number 9. Okay. So this is what the computer sees. Okay. Itong isang row na to corresponds to just one number. Okay? And yung number na yan is number 1. So, yung row na yan corresponds to the number 1. Itong row na to corresponds to the number 3. Okay? And then itong row na to corresponds to the number 7. Okay? And so on and so forth. Now, when we teach the model, okay, how to identify, how to classify these numbers, okay, what we're actually doing is we're training, okay, the computer, or we're training the model, okay, to classify itong images na ito. So, yun yung term na ginagamit natin. And since we want to test the model, gusto nating magtira ng konti dun sa 70,000 na dataset, okay, para i-test, okay, kung tama yung na-output ng model. Okay, so out of these 70,000, kukuha lang tayo ng, let's say for example, 60,000, okay, to train the model. And then yung 10,000 gagamitin natin after nung training to check if the model is correct. Okay, so i-verify natin yung kung yung model ay kung gaano ka-accurate yung model na yun. Okay? So itong matrix na to, since we're training 60,000 numbers, okay, ito ay merong 60,000 na rows. Okay, one row corresponds to each number. At ito naman, okay, since ang isang row na to corresponds to one number, then tulad ng sinabi natin kanina, they consist of 784 elements, 28 by 28 pixels. So ito is 784. So you can imagine, okay, kung gaano kalaki yung dataset na ito kasi you have 784 elements by 60,000 or 60,000 elements by 784. And then actually 785 pa nga. Kasi itong last column dito corresponds to yung number. But in reality, hindi natin nilalagay dito yung number. Instead, we use a method called one-hot encoding. Okay? Na ipapakita ko mamaya kung paano siya nag-work. Okay? Pag tinitignan natin yung code. Okay? So, yung one-hot encoding will result to additional 9 more elements dito. Okay, 9 more elements dito. So 784, magiging 794 na yung number of columns dito by 60,000 rows. So ganun kalaki yung kinocompute ng computer. Okay? Okay. Okay, sige. Let's, oops. Okay, so now, okay, so, yan. So we have these tawag dito. Ito yung isang number. Ito yung number that corresponds to that row. And ang tawag natin sa about isa sa mga columns na ito is a feature. Okay, and explain ko mamaya kung ano yung ibig sabihin ng feature pag tinignan na natin yung code. Okay. Now, how does this work? Okay, paano nag-work ang neural network? Tulad ng sinabi ko kanina, it's inspired by how brains work. So yung brain is composed of this tawag dito, a cell body, and then yung mga dendrites, and then yung mga axons. So yung dendrites yung nakakonect dun sa uh, yung axon na ito, okay, yung dulo ng axons na ito nakakonect dun sa dendrites, okay, dun sa next na cells, okay. And from what we know about how the brain works, then we have, so ito ang tawag natin dito is a neuron, di ba? Then we have this perceptron, okay, which is how we model, okay, the uh, the neural network or a node of a neural network, how we model the node to work. Okay, so tulad nung dendrites, we have these inputs. Okay, so yung dendrites dito, yan yung nag-act as inputs. Okay, and dun sa previous dito, meron tayong 784 na inputs. Okay? Okay, so ito 784 yan. Then we have this node, okay, which is corresponds to yung cell body. At dito sa node nangyayari lahat ng mathematics. Okay, so we have this a number, okay, which actually corresponds to how we computed yung slope at saka y-intercepts last time. Okay, yung W dito is the same as yung theta naught at saka theta 1 kahapon. Okay, and we call them weights. Okay, so itong W1, W2, W3 corresponds to theta 1, theta 2, theta 3, and so on and so forth. So if you have 784 elements, then you also have 784 weights. Okay. Pero madadagdagan yan mamaya. Okay. Nang isa lang. Okay. Now, actually, kulang ito. Kasi this is sort of a linear regression method. And makikita natin na hindi nag-work ang linear regression pagdating dito sa ano na to, sa system na ito, sa images. So we need something else, okay, para sabihin or para tulungan tayo na identify yung image. So we call that an activation function. And again, di-describe ko yan mamayang konti. Now, from the activation function, yung activation function actually yung magbibigay nung output. It will tell us kung anong klaseng, kung anong number siya, kung anong digit siya, 0, 1, 2, 3, or 9. Okay? So ito yan. So ito yung perceptron, ito yung neuron, ito yung input, ito yung dendrites, and then you have the weights, itong linear regression, and then your activation function. Then yung output, okay, that's the axon, okay, that is analogous dun sa neuron. Okay. Okay, so ano ba itong mga activation functions na ito? So marami iba't ibang klase activation functions. Okay, but yung pinaka-common is a ReLU activation function. Okay, but you also have this sigmoid, logistic, hyperbolic tangent, the swish. Okay, hindi ko na i-discuss kung ano yung mga activation functions na yan. Pero basically, ang ginagawa ng activation function is it decides whether a neuron should be activated or not. Whether a neuron should fire. Di ba? Tulad ng brain, okay, magpa-fire ba siya ng electric pulse? Okay, or hindi. Okay, so the activation function actually helps us to decide whether the neuron's input to the network is important or not. Okay, and makikita natin yan mamaya dun sa example. Now, dito sa ginagawa natin, uh, ang gagamitin natin is ReLU dun sa hidden layers. Okay, and sa output layer, we use what's called a softmax na activation function. Okay, now softmax is typically used for multi-class classification. Tulad nung gagawin natin ngayon. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So meron tayong 10 classes. Kung binary classification lang, then a sigmoid function would suffice. Okay? Okay. Okay. So, yeah, yan yung sa activation functions. Okay, now, i-consider natin itong simple na example. So this is a binary classification example. Ang classification lang dito is whether a tumor is malignant or not, depending on the tumor size. So ito is not malignant, ito naman is malignant. Tapos dito sa x-axis, andito yung tumor size. Okay, so makikita natin na if yung tumor size is small, okay, base dito sa figure, up to a certain threshold, then hindi siya malignant. Pero above that threshold, makikita natin na malignant yung tumor. Okay, now, kahapon, pinag-aralan natin linear regression. And if we use linear regression to this type of data set, what we'll get is this blue line. Okay? Makukuha natin yung blue line. And if we use that blue line to model yung tumor size, so let's say na ang tumor size is somewhere here. Punta tayo ngayon sa blue line. Pagdating sa blue line, andi dito yung point, di ba? So nandito siya banda sa gitna. So hindi tayo sure kung yung tumor ay malignant or hindi. If we go here, dito sa size na ito, and project it to the blue line, again, hindi tayo sure kung malignant siya o hindi. Kasi halos 50%, di ba, yung hula natin, okay, malignant siya. So malalaman na natin kung hindi siya malignant dito sa dataset na ito at saka dito sa dataset na ito. Pero dito sa mga datasets na ito, medyo uncertain tayo, okay, kung malignant siya. Now, we can add more datasets kasi sabi natin, the more datasets we use, mas matututo yung computer at mas magiging accurate yung kanyang prediction. And if we add, for example, this dataset here, we get this green line. Okay. And if we continue using yung linear regression, no matter how many datasets we add here, we'll always have this line and we'll always have this region na kung saan very uncertain kung yung tumor based on the size is malignant or not. So for classification, linear regression does not work or is not very accurate. And that's why we use yung mga activation functions. Okay, now, dito sa example, we're going to use what's called a sigmoid or logistic na function. Okay, so ito yung linear regression na function na nakuha natin kahapon. Okay, and ito yung y-intercept, ito yung slope. Now we call these weights. Diba? So, kung babalikan natin yung figure kanina, ito yung weights. Okay? So, theta 1, theta 2, and then theta 3. And then later, magdadagdag tayo ng theta naught dito. Okay? And yung reason will be clearer mamaya. Okay, so theta naught, theta 1. Since dalawa lang yung classify natin, dalawa lang yung kailangan nating weights. Okay, so theta naught tsaka theta 1. Okay, and ang gagawin natin dito sa linear regression function na ito is we're going to insert this to the sigmoid logistic function. Ito yung itsura ng sigmoid logistic function. Okay, so 1 over 1 plus exponential minus theta tx. Ang t dito corresponds to a transpose kasi ang theta is a matrix. Okay, so ang theta, oops, ang theta na yan corresponds to the matrix, okay, theta naught at saka theta 1. Okay? So, if hindi kayo familiar sa matrices, it's totally fine. Okay? Kahit na hindi nyo gaano naintindihan ito, importante lang dito is that kung ano yung ginagawa ng sigmoid function. Okay? Ang takeaway nyo dito sa slide na to is kung ano yung ginagawa ng sigmoid function. Okay? Not necessarily yung math. Okay? Okay. Paano ba ako babalik dun sa... Oops. Yeah, magic cursor. Ayan. Okay, so kaya may transpose dito kasi matrix siya. And then itong X is also a matrix. Okay? So in any case, yung linear regression na function, ipapasok natin sa sigmoid at saka logistic na function. Ito yung itsura ng logistic function. Okay, yung kulay itim. And makikita nyo na mas accurate siya kumpara sa linear function. Kasi pwede nating sabihin na if yung output ng sigmoid function is greater than 0.5, ito yung 0.5, pag mas mataas siya sa 0.5, then we say na y equals 1. Y equals 1 corresponds to a malignant tumor. Okay? And pag less than 0.5, pwede natin sabihin na ang output niya is y equals 0. Okay? Then, ang lalabas dito ay hindi siya malignant. Okay? Yun yung kinaganda ng sigmoid function kasi it has that particular na shape which allows us to identify kung malignant siya or hindi. So let's say for example, itong tumor na ito, or dito muna, itong tumor na ito has this output. Okay. So makikita natin na it's below 0.5. So sinasabi natin na with this tumor size, then it's not malignant. Tignan natin itong tumor size na ito. Okay. I-project natin yan dito. So it's below 0.5. Then we say na itong tumor size na ito corresponds to a non-malignant tumor. Kung pupunta tayo dito, project natin sa sigmoid function, then we say, since greater siya sa 0.5, then we say na itong tumor size na ito corresponds to a malignant na tumor. Okay? So yan ang ginagawa ng activation function. So you have a linear, you have this a linear na data set and kino-convert niya into, inactivate niya yung linear na data set na yan para sabihin na, okay, hindi yan malignant, tapos ito malignant, the rest ay malignant. Depende sa kung ano yung i-output nung logistic na function. Okay? So I hope clear yun, kung ano yung ginagawa ng activation na function. Now, in principle, ganyan ang ginagawa ng mga activation functions. Okay, especially pagdating sa classification. So, sinasabi niya na, okay, ito, mataas yung probability na itong ganito, ganyan. So, we're talking about probabilities, not certainties. Okay? Okay, so, pag ang output niya is let's say 0.9 para dito sa tumor size na ito. So it has 90% probability, okay, na ang tumor size na ito ay malignant. Okay. So meron pa rin probabilities siya. Pero at least hindi na katulad dito sa linear regression na medyo uncertain tayo especially in this region. Okay, so yan yung ginagawa ng activation function. Okay. So, okay, so now, tignan natin kung paano nag-work ito ngayon. So, we have this input, x1, x2, x3. Ang gagawin natin is magdadagdag tayo ng isa pang node. Okay? Okay, which you call a bias. Okay, so yan yung X naught. Okay. Now, dito sa equation na ito, yung B na ito, yan yung bias. So actually, X naught yan. Okay. Then, each of these lines has a corresponding theta. So ito theta 1, ito theta 2, ito theta 3. Tapos ito, dahil nagdagdag tayo ng bias, ito yung theta naught natin. So, kaya tayo may theta naught dito, yan yung bias natin. Ito ngayon yung first na data point. Now, tatanungin nyo, ano ba yung x dito? Well, ang x dito is x naught. And para magkaroon ng x naught dyan, dapat ang value ng x naught is 1. So, lahat ng bias initially ay equal sa 1. Okay? So, for each node, nagdadagdag tayo, or for each layer, nagdadagdag tayo ng isang bias. Okay? So, input, add the bias, add yung weights, okay? Include yung weights. Then, ipasok dun sa node. Okay? Gamitin yung linear regression, ipasok sa sigmoid function para ma-activate. Okay? And then, tignan natin kung ano yung magiging output. Okay? So, yun yung buong process. Okay? Dun na nangyayari dun sa neural network. Okay. So, now, tulad ng pinakita natin kanina, itong neural network na ito is composed of not just one, but pwedeng dalawa, pwedeng tatlong hidden layers. So, pwedeng magkaroon ng maraming hidden layers. In this example, okay, dito, merong isang layer lang. So, ito yung input layer, ito yung hidden layer, ito yung output layer. Okay. Now, itong mga numbers na dito corresponds to the activation, okay, nung layer na ito, layer 2. Okay? And yung activation is based on this function. So again, magdadagdag tayo ng bias dito. Iko-connect natin yung bias na yan sa tatlong nodes na ito. Dagdag tayo ng weights na 4 din. Tapos, tignan natin kung ano yung lalabas na numbers dito. After natin makita kung ano yung lalabas na numbers dito based on this equation, i-connect naman natin to dun sa output. Okay? At yun yung ilalabas nung output. Okay? Okay. Okay, so yung next slide might be a little bit intimidating, especially para dun sa mga hindi familiar. Okay, but let me just explain this briefly. So this G is a function of this one. Okay, and if I go back a few slides, may nakikita kayong G, which is a function of theta t times x. So itong theta t na to times x is nothing but yung nakalagay dito sa loob ng parenthesis. Again, it's at this point, it's not important kung ano yung ibig sabihin ng mga ito, especially kung ang interest niya lang is maintindihan yung neural networks. Okay, pero later if you want to understand yung code, you can, pwede natin pag-aralan ito and you can just simply ask me about this. Pero ang point dito is this G, okay, corresponds to yung activation function. So the G is the sigmoid function. Okay, so this is just your sigmoid function. And yung sigmoid function na yan has an output corresponding to this in this node. Okay, itong sigmoid function na to has an output that will be placed here in this node, at itong sigmoid function na to has an output that will be placed in this node. Okay, and then finally yung H theta, okay, will also be activated. Okay, ito yung kanyang theta tx. Okay, and it will be placed here sa layer 3. Okay, at yan yung magiging output niya ngayon. Okay, so yan na yung output ng model na ito. Okay? Okay, now, para mas maging klaro sa inyo yan, let's consider a very, very simple example kung paano nag-work itong mga to. Okay. Itong nakikita nyo dito are Boolean operators. And itong mga tables na ito are called truth tables. So, bawat isa sa mga to are operators. So, this is a NOT operator, this is an OR operator, an AND, XOR, a NAND, and tsaka NOR. So ang ginagawa ng NOT operator, if your input is 0, babalik ta rin yan. So magiging 1. If your input is 1, gagawin niyang 0. Ang OR naman na operator, ang ginagawa niya is as long as one of the inputs ay 1, okay, ang output is 1. So dito, ang inputs, neither of the inputs ay 1. So ang output niya is 0. Dito, dalawa yung inputs, isa sa mga inputs ay 1, so ang output niya ay 1. Dito naman, isa sa mga inputs ay 1, so ang output niya pa rin ay 1. Dito, both inputs ay 1, so ang output niya rin ay 1. Sa AND naman na operator, both inputs need to be 1. Okay, para yung output ay maging 1. So dito, 0, 0, walang 1, so 0 yung output. Dito, isa lang sa kanila yung 1, so 0 yung output. Dito, isa lang sa kanila yung 1, so 0 yung output. And dito, both outputs are 1, so 1 yung output niya. Sa XOR naman, either of the inputs must be 1, pero both cannot be 1. So dito, both are 1, so ang output niya ay 0. Pero dito, isa lang sa kanila yung 1, so ang output niya is 1. Ang NAND gate is just the opposite of AND. Okay, so kung titignan nyo, 0, 0, 0, 1 to 1, 1, 1, 0. So yung AND dito corresponds to not AND. So opposite lang, babaliktarin mo lang yung output ng AND na operator. And yung NOR, babaliktarin mo lang yung output ng OR. So it's a not or NOR operator. Okay? Okay, sige. So let's see. How do we we're going to use this para maintindihan natin kung paano nag-work yung activation function. Okay? Yes. Okay, so ganito ang gagawin natin ngayon. Sandali ah. Okay, so ang gagawin natin is we only have two inputs. Sa logic OR, we only have itong two inputs, X and Y. Okay, so ito yung ating X and Y. Okay, now, ang gagawin natin is kailangan natin maglagay ng weights dito. Okay, so anong weight ang ilalagay natin dyan? Well, if we put here, okay, so let me just recall kung ano yung weights na ilalagay dyan. Ano? Sandali. Okay, sandali lang ha. Okay, so okay, so let's say na ang lagay natin dito. Saan na yun? Okay, ang ilagay natin na weight dito ay dito, lagay natin dito is -20. Ba't ganyan yung pen? Okay, yan natin. And then dito, ang lagay natin is +20. Okay. Okay, and then syempre kailangan din natin lagyan ng weight yung ano, yung bias. Okay. So ang gagawin natin is ito yung susundan natin equation ito. Okay. So ang input is 0, 0. So base dito sa equation na ito, yung equation na yan. Okay. So theta naught is -30. Okay, plus theta 1 is -20. Okay, times x1. Sabi natin na 0, 0, di ba? So, itong x1 is 0. Itong x2 ay 0. So, 0 to, 0 to, kasi ito ay -30. Now, pag pinasok natin, so ang theta natin yan is -30. Okay? Now, Itong buo na to, yan na yung lalagay natin dyan sa exponent. So exponential yan ng -30. Okay? Ano ang exponential ng -30? It will be a very, very small number. Okay, so somewhere here. Okay, so dahil maliit siya na number, okay, and it is below 0.5, then we say na ang y na ilalagay natin dito is 0. Okay? Now, ito naman 0 tsaka 1. So this is 0 and this is 1. So we have -30 plus 0 plus 20 times 1. So -30 plus 20 is -10. Okay, ang -10 is somewhere here kasi ito -4. -10 is somewhere here. So it's still below, anong tawag dito? -z. Wait. Tama ba yung... okay. So mali. Sorry. Dapat ito positive. Hindi nagmamatter. +20, -30. Okay. Sige. Okay lang yan. Mali yung tinitingnan ko. Sorry. -30, -30, 20, 20. Wait. -10. Kaya naman pala. Sorry. Erase. Ito dapat, ang weight dapat dito is -10. Okay. And then ito ay 20. So, again, so -10 dito, and then 0, di ba kasi 0 ito, and then 1 is x2 is 1, so ang theta 2 is 20, so -10 plus 20, then you have +10. Ang +10 is somewhere here, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yung 10 ay nandito, at obvious na obvious na ang output is greater than 0.5, so ang ilalagay natin dito is 1. Okay, and tapos dito naman 1, 0. So ito ay 1, ito ay 0, so wala na to. Then you have -10 plus 20. So itong theta na ito is, is +10. So ang +10 ay nandito. So it will be somewhere here. So ang output natin ngayon ay greater than 0.5. So it's also 1. Okay, and then 1, 1. So ito ay 1, 1. So you have -10, 20, 20. So you have +30. +30 is somewhere here. Malayo-layo na yan. Pag tinuloy mo yung graph, somewhere here. So it's obvious na ang output niya is 1. So ang lalagay natin dito is 1. And that's exactly how we obtained itong logic OR na ito. Okay, and I mean, it's exactly how we define itong truth table for logic OR. 0, 1, 1, 1. And we obtain that, okay, by determining yung correct weights dito. Okay, so yung tamang weights dito is -10, 20, tsaka 20. At yun yung ginagawa ng model. So it's trying to determine kung ano yung proper na weights dito. And if you recall dun sa linear regression, di ba? Theta naught plus theta 1x dun sa course kahapon. The task is to determine kung ano yung y-intercept at saka yung slope. So yung computer ang natututo kung ano yung tamang y-intercept at saka tamang slope. At yun yung ginagawa din dito sa neural networks. So yung computer ang magde-determine kung ano yung tamang weights na ilalagay niya to give the proper output. Okay? Okay, so I don't want to extend too much, okay? Pero actually ayoko mag-extend talaga, and since this is just a crash course. So I invite you to do this na lang, okay? And check kung yung truth table for the next of these functions, okay, are correct. So for end, yung supposedly na makukuha nyo rito is weight is -30, 20, at saka 20. Okay, for the knot, okay, ang makukuha nyo rito ay uh, 10, okay, 10 at saka minus 20. Okay, and then para sa not x1 tsaka sa not x2, okay, ang makukuha nyo rito is 10, negative 20, at saka negative 20. Okay, so if you want to do this simple exercise later, you can do so. Okay, binigay ko na yung numbers dito. Okay, and panoorin nyo na lang dun sa video mamaya kung ano yung number. Kasi hindi ko pag in-escape ko kasi ito, mawawala lahat ng ano nung sinulat ko dito sa Canva. So, tawag dito, try to see if the truth table that you get corresponds dun sa truth table na nandito sa na diniscuss natin kanina. Okay? Then we'll discuss kung ano nangyayari dito kasi ito na yung output na H theta naught. Okay? Okay, so to summarize, ang diniscuss natin ngayong araw ay neural networks, paano sila nag-work at kung paano sila gamitin. Okay, we also talked about yung different parts ng neural network, input layer, hidden layers, tsaka output layer. Tinignan din natin yung roles ng weights, tsaka biases, tsaka activation functions. Okay, and then kinonsider natin initially itong logic gates, okay, yung OR gates specifically, para tignan kung paano talaga nag-work yung neural, a simple, very simple neural network. So we'll continue with this tomorrow. Okay, unfortunately kulang tayo sa oras. And I'm also going to show you kung ano yung code which corresponds to how to implement itong lahat ng mga bagay na ito. Okay? Okay, so do you have any questions? So kung wala kayong tanong for now, it's fine. Okay, pero kung meron kayong tanong, then you just turn on your mic or just tawag dito, type in your questions dun sa chat. Okay, pero kung wala kayong tanong at this point, then in a bit i-upload ko yung video sa YouTube and then sa Facebook page. Okay, nasa chat box yung yung Facebook tsaka YouTube channels. So YouTube channel na ginagamit ko. And yeah, and then siguro bukas nyo na lang itanong yung questions niya. Okay? So thank you for coming and I'll see you again tomorrow. Okay?